Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very fun video to get into. The Nintendo Switch is so popular, and you know about so many of the popular games. But in this video, we're going to go over 10 must-play hidden gems. There's a good chance you probably haven't heard of some, if not all of these games. So let's go and get right into the video. I really take pride in these videos because I find games that are not only great, but games you probably have never even heard of. And it really makes for a fun video. So before we get started, you, the lovely, amazing humans, well, I'm assuming humans, you could be an ET from outer space, but that's okay. As long as you hit a like and subscribe, we will be all good. Now let's go ahead and get right into the video. The first game we're talking about today is called Anomaly Agent. Become Agent 70 and stop the anomalies threatening to destroy the balance of the world. Anomaly Agent is a cyberpunk action platformer featuring fluid combat, a time-bending story, quirky characters, and a catchy synthwave soundtrack. You could literally just tell me that information right there and I'd be like, okay, I'm ready to play this, but don't worry, I'm going to explain it a little bit more. Punch or shoot through mobs of enemies, impact the story with your choices, and stop the anomalies before the world plunges into chaos. Use extraordinary anomaly weapons to toss your opponents around. Overcome your enemies using melee techniques or deadly firearms. You can modify your gameplay by upgrading your character in a bunch of different ways. And you can also escape your pursuers with acrobatic moves. Shape how the story unfolds. Unravel the mysteries you face and make the world a safer place. Or you just might plunge it into disaster. So the game I'm currently playing on my PlayStation 5 is Cyberpunk 2077, and any other way I can experience more of anything Cyberpunk, well, sign me up. So this is a game that I would definitely check out. Now let's talk about a game called Bramble, the Mountain King. This is a grim adventure, set in a world inspired by dark Nordic fables. Explore the beautiful, yet dangerous and twisted land of Bramble, in your endeavor to rescue your sister. Traverse a wondrous landscape, and survive deadly encounters with Bramble's many hideous creatures. Bramble the Mountain King takes you on a gripping and unsettling journey through stunning environments. Not everything in Bramble is exactly how it seems. In this strange land with creatures big and small, you must be careful when to approach and when to hide. Many hungry and spiteful beasts lurk in these forests and caves. Call upon the spark of courage, an enchanted fragment granting the gifts you need to endure the pitfalls and trials in your path. So these days, there's just so many games. And I mean, from a gamer perspective, that's not really a bad thing. The only issue with there being so many games is a lot of them just kind of blur together. This is a game that immediately stands out. Everything from the gameplay, the setting, the graphics, the story. It all just feels so special. It feels so direct and like it really serves a purpose. So definitely check this one out. Now let's talk about a game called Chasm. Welcome to Chasm, an action-adventure game in which you play a new recruit undertaking your first mission for the Gildian Kingdom. Thrilled to prove your worth as a knight, you track strange rumors that a mine vital to the kingdom has been shut down. But what you discover in the mining town is worse than you ever imagined. The townspeople have disappeared, kidnapped by a supernatural creature emerging from the depths. Honor-bound to solve the mystery and restore peace to the kingdom, you embark upon an epic adventure with deadly battles against cunning monsters, exploration of ancient catacombs and castles, and powerful new equipment hidden at every turn. Though the overall story is the same for all players, your hero's journey will be unique. Each of the rooms has been hand-designed, and behind-the-scenes Chasm stitches the room together in one-of-a-kind world map that will be your own. So I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but forgive me. One thing that I look for in games is like the art style and just the overall feel, I guess, of the art direction they went with. And I love this game. You know, a game could be really good, like have great mechanics and a great story, but maybe the art style just didn't fit the game. This art style fits this story and this game perfectly. I would definitely check out Chasm. Now let's talk about a very interesting game called Carrion. There is so many horror games to choose from, and if you're a fan of horror games, then that's a great thing. I've actually talked about horror games quite a bit in the past few weeks, and I don't really enjoy them that much. It's not that I think they're bad or anything, it's just, you know, I didn't really play Resident Evil when I was younger, so I never really got into horror games to begin with, and then as I got older, I was like, they kind of all just do the same thing. There are a few that stand out, but they all follow the same principles. What if we could experience this from a different perspective? What if you were the bad guy? What if you were the monster? That's exactly what you get in this game. This is a reverse horror game, in which you assume the role of a creature of unknown origin. You need to stalk and consume those that have imprisoned you, to spread fear and panic throughout the facility. Grow and evolve as you tear down this prison and acquire more and more devastating abilities on your path to retribution. I don't understand why we don't do this more. Why are we not playing games from the perspective of the monster or from the bad guy? Because this game does it, and it does it right. So I would definitely check this one out. The next hidden gem we're talking about today is a game called Worldless. Worldless is set in a newborn universe based on entities trapped in eternal conflict by the polarizing nature of their attractions. These interactions can result in an exchange, but this process is very unstable, and who knows what new results can come from it. Players will explore intricate and interconnected areas full of secrets and mysteries to uncover with a plethora of abilities like dashing and wall jumps. Along the way, you will encounter different beings that aim to stop you as you seek to find your place in this universe. Using turn-based rules, fights combine traditional combat with active time actions for a thrilling and strategic combat where your knowledge of game mechanics and skills will be put to the test. Uncover unimaginable possibilities. You know the old saying, less is more? That almost applies to this game because it's like your character and I guess the whole world they built is kind of minimalist, but in doing that it has so much depth. I don't really know how they were able to accomplish this because something that's so basic seems massive like the universe, and they've really captured that well. Now let's talk about a game called What Lies in the Multiverse. What Lies in the Multiverse is a story-driven 2D adventure that one could call a dramatic comedy, filled to the brim with hilarious, cartoonish hijinks. The narrative also presents a player with mature and deep themes like death, envy, and obsession. Things inevitably go crazy very fast in the multiverse when you discover the ability to travel between parallel worlds. These worlds are alternate versions of each level in different aesthetic, theme, and physicality. Switching between them allows you to solve challenges and to progress the story. Would you like to change the game world on the fly? Well, now you can. You can't reach a ledge? Bam! Switch worlds mid-air. Afraid of sliding around on an icy environment? Alternate to another universe for firmer ground. Just be very careful with messing with gravity. Embark on a journey across a variety of gorgeous pixel art worlds, each offering something unique. Explore temples, towns, harbors, the wilderness, and more as you race to unlock the secrets of the multiverse. I've actually wanted to talk about this game for a very long time. This was a game that I bought on an eShop sale and I was expecting nothing from it. And it was only a couple bucks when I bought it, so I was like, I'll probably play around this for a little bit. This is a game that I think about often because of how weird and wacky it was. On the surface, you think you know what you're getting, but as you start to play, you'll be in for a real treat. The next hidden gem we're talking about today is called BPM, Bullets Per Minute. BPM is a rhythm-based first-person shooter. Fight as a mighty Valkyrie to repel the forces of the underworld from invading the world of Asgard. In BPM, all your actions and the actions of your enemies are tied to the beat of the music. Your enemies perform a dance-like sequence of attacks to an epic rock opera inspired by retro shooters of the 90s. It's fast and frantic, but there's a little rhythm there. You can double jump, dash, rocket jump, and bunny hop to evade your opponents. Your goal is to reach the end of each dungeon, collecting different weapons, abilities, and items each time you play. These weapons and abilities can radically alter the way you play, making each playthrough unique. You must defeat 7 bosses to reach the final boss. Each boss moves and attacks in a unique way, and you must learn to exploit it if you want to succeed. This game literally reminds me of like a million different games mashed together. And when you first hear something like that, you're probably like, well, they probably didn't know which direction to go, so they threw a bunch of stuff at the wall to see what would stick. In this case, everything ended up sticking, and it just works so damn well. So this is a game you don't want to miss. So the next game couldn't be more different than the last one. Now we're talking about a game called Railbound. Railbound is a comfy, track-bending puzzle game about a pair of dogs on a train journey around the world. Solve over 150 clever puzzles ranging from gentle slopes to twisted passageways. You need to bend rails to make these trains go. Place, remove, and reroute connections so that carriages safely connect to the locomotive, but be careful so you don't make them run into each other. Main levels will take you through a variety of locations at a relaxed pace. Forks along the road will lead you to spicy brain teasers that please even the most demanding players. Use tunnels to cover vast areas in an instant. You need to delay the trains using well-timed railway barriers. Switch tracks to reroute cars in different directions, pick up cute friends on the way, and encounter even more challenges on your journey. Even though the gameplay is at the forefront, and it's what you're going to be focused on the most, the art and the music really adds to everything here. It's really where you get the vibe of this game. I'm not sure exactly what you would call this, maybe like comic book or storybook style art, but When you add the art style and the music and the gameplay and you mix it all together, that's the recipe for a game you can get lost in. So now let's talk about a game called Demon Turf. And I'm pretty sure there's a sequel to this game, so you can't go wrong with either one, so we'll just say the Demon Turf series, but these games are must-play hidden gems. The demon world is inhabited by all kinds of nasties. Most of them are lumped into gangs battling for dominion, each led by its own head honcho. Yet even these bad dudes are no match for the Demon King himself. Instead, the task falls to Beebs, a young demon barely 1,000 years old, who decides it's time for her to kick every Turf's leader's butt. This world is full of humor and style, from the music accompanied by the protagonist rapping to the colorful characters inhabiting the world. Take a victory lap and explore previously beaten levels to discover their liberated state, with plenty of mechanical and environmental changes to uncover, or get physical with a special physics-driven combat system that ramps up the chaos and fun. Every now and then I really get surprised by a game. When you've been playing video games for multiple decades like I have, you kinda think you've just seen it all. But the actual mechanics and the way this game look kinda have my brain a little rattled, because it almost looks familiar, or maybe like a little nostalgic. I think it reminds me of like early 2000s internet, but then it looks futuristic at the same damn time. So it has me a little confused. One area I'm not confused is in my ability to know that you should be playing this game if you get a chance. So you should do that. And the last game we're talking about today is called Cassette Beasts. Welcome to a remote island inhabited by strange creatures you've only dreamed of, nightmares you hopefully haven't, and a cast of brave folks who use cassette tapes to transform for battle. To find a way home, you'll need to explore every inch of the island, and record monsters to your trusted cassette tapes to gain their abilities. Faced with the constant threat of monster attacks, the residents choose to fight fire with fire. Record a monster to a tape, then play it back to take on its form for battle. You can also fuse monster forms together. Getting close to your companion has benefits. While transform, you can combine your strengths to gain the upper hand in battle. Explore a rich open world. Certain monster abilities can be used in human form. You'll need these to help you get around, solve puzzles, and locate dungeons. You can glide, fly, swim, climb, dash, go invisible, or turn magnetic, and so much more. Travel alongside a diverse cast of human companions. Never fight alone. Form bonds, spend time together, and help your selected partner complete personal goals to become a better team. You can also team up in online multiplayer and trade beasts without even knowing anything about this game. Somebody could have just showed me footage of it and I'd be like, oh my god, what is that? My gamer brain needs to know what that is. It needs to play that. Then when you add in all the details, it's like, okay, of course I need to be playing that. And guess what? You should also be playing this. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how I keep doing it, but I keep doing it. The Nintendo Switch, at least in my opinion, is officially the home of hidden gems. I think there's something like 12,000 games on the Switch, and I think that was like a year ago that I heard or read that number, so I'm sure there's a million more games now. A lot of them just aren't good, but there's also a lot of amazing games that kind of just slip through the cracks, and that's what I'm here to do. Find amazing games that kind of slipped under the cracks, but are still worth playing. In the comments below, let me know your thoughts and opinions as always. And if you could do me a favor by following me on Twitter and Instagram, well, I'd really appreciate that favor. And you guys know me, I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.